This all came about when I was speaking in the House of Lords and I met Heidi for the first time, and Heidi was then talking to me about the idea of coming around the country with a colleague. And I think if I hand over to you guys to just tell everybody a little bit about why you're here today.
Right, well, first of all, thank you very, very much for coming and being prepared to teach us about what is actually happening here. Our aim is to try and keep up with the fast-moving frontier of what happens to people who are poor and those who are pushed into destitution. And clearly, I think we'll have a lot to learn here today. So that's the reason why I'm here, and it's great that Heidi is here. And Annie, who's director of Feeding Britain, Heidi's next to me. We'll be doing a report on this with the help of Annie to try and wake up some of our colleagues. That's really what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a great opportunity for us to kind of refresh what the last APPG on hunger did about 5 years ago. And what they were really trying to do was to get to the root cause of some of the issues that we're seeing today. And I think that's our aim for this report as well, is to, first of all, share these stories from individuals who are experiencing this and really show people what it's actually like, but then also to come up with some concrete recommendations for how we might make this better. So thank you for sharing your experiences and your knowledge with us.
Hello, so I'm Heidi Allen. I'm an MP, as Frank is, and I sit on Frank, our work and pension select committee. Don't write that down. I have a habit of doing this, just by the way. You should know. This is why I don't get promoted, because I all the time. But yeah, so together, we are members of the Work and Pension Select Committee, which, as you all know, every government department has a select committee that kind of crawls all over that department and works out if they're doing things good, bad or indifferent, and Frank, of course, is our chair. And I wanted to do this because it seems to me that government thinks that universal credit is this amazing system, which it can be, and it might be one day, and that it's all fixed and it's all fine, and that all you've got to do is just click on and you're away. We know that, yeah, that face, a lot of us know that it's not like that. But unless, and that's why we have some media with us, it's all very well and good, Frank and I in the House of Commons or in select committees writing lovely reports and all the rest of it, but unless I show, I think particularly my colleagues in the Conservative Party, unless I show them what it looks like, and that life out there, how many miles are we from London? I don't know, quite a few. A lot. That life is very, very different. And you all do a phenomenal job, I'm sure, individually trying to help. But the point is the welfare safety net should be there to do what you're doing, and it isn't. So we're really interested in hearing where the welfare safety net doesn't work anymore, where universal credit needs to improve, benefit freeze, 5-week wait, I'm sure we're going to hear all of that. But really it's just about hearing, because you're the experts, dare I say it, not DWP officials stuck in London, you're the experts, so that's why I'm here. So thank you for having us, and for the biscuits.
So thank you. I want to say a big thank you to you for joining us, because you are leading advocates for really vulnerable people up and down the country. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Siobhan Collingwood and I'm head teacher at Morecambe Bay Primary School. And it's a community which is a challenged community in many ways, as we all know. But it's not just my school that is being challenged by this issue, and that's why we've moved to here to hold this event, because it can't just be seen as being one school issue. This is a nationwide issue and a school-wide issue. And what I'm finding for the first time is that because I work around county with lots of schools that would previously have been seen as leafy suburb schools are now addressing exactly the same issues. And what we're finding is a growth in numbers of families that are needing help and support in ways that we haven't seen before. but we're also seeing a growth in the extremity of that need. And part of that is because of a reduction in early intervention services and provision. That means we're not catching families before they fall into crisis. So as services are dropping and being reduced and being cut, the need is growing, and then the expectation within schools and the pressure within schools is rising, and budget cuts are making it ever harder. And it's beginning to feel like a pressure cooker. It's beginning to feel like it can't go on much longer in this way. Something has to change or it is going to blow. So that's why I'm standing up here talking about it today instead of getting on with all my paperwork for data analysis at school. Because part of my job as a head teacher is to look at data and analyse data. And I can't stop doing that because all of the data that you'll see around about this room reflects that experience that I'm having in my school. So that just leads me to say, well, this is not my problem. And then I go away and I read an article that was shared with me today from Leith, which is around about 50 miles away from here, in the town that I grew up in as a little girl, and they're experiencing exactly the same problems. And before Christmas, I received a phone call from a school about 30 miles away from here in an area that nobody would have thought to be struggling, saying that a member of their school community had been sanctioned and had no means of paying for anything over the Christmas holiday. Was there anything that we could do to help? And so we were able to put them in touch with food parcels and so on and so forth. I've got colleagues from other schools here today who are all saying exactly the same thing. We have colleagues from the fire service who are noting an increase in community need. We've got colleagues from the police service who are struggling to meet demand as provision gets cut again. We've got colleagues from NHS, from doctors' surgeries, and we've got colleagues from voluntary services that are here. And we are all, in the second part of this session, going to look at what we are doing as a brilliant community, because I love this community. I love the strength that there is within this community. I'm so proud to belong to it, because we don't just sit back and moan about it and complain about it. We look for solutions, don't we? And we find ways of working together that are innovative. And the movement in this area is quite phenomenal. The Together We Can movement that has risen to this challenge to say, let's join up together and find innovative ways of working together, because there is no white horse riding over the hill to rescue us. So we have to be the answers together. We can do that to a certain extent, but we need help. So not only are we going to capture the brilliant, innovative ways that we're working together, but we're also going to say this is how we need help from nationally. If we're going to really make a difference, to pick these people up and to make a difference to the lives of really vulnerable people, then we need help, and we need help quite quickly, because otherwise that pressure cooker is going to blow. So thank you very much, everybody, for coming along and being part of that conversation today. Well, thank you particularly to the Food Bank and Annette for welcoming us along. Annette's going to say a few words just shortly.
Well, thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you very, very much for coming to this coastal resort. Because you've come to a coastal resort because I've noticed that while you're touring the UK, you're visiting lots and lots of different demographics. So we love the opportunity that we're here to represent coastal resorts right the way across the UK. And I think we really need to make sure that we get that message across, that we are just a representation of coastal across the UK. And why are we here? We're here for two reasons. First of all, you're here to hear with responsibility to accurately feed back, and that's what we're hoping we can achieve today. But also, I realise that you're here to follow up on an inquiry that you did 5 years ago, and we really hope and pray that you won't be back in another 5 years for this very same reason. So those are the two reasons why you're here today. But saying about what you did 5 years ago, I want to take you back 7 years ago. Where were we? So 7 years ago in the food bank, we were in a cupboard. We were in a cupboard in a church, and we were trying to get 3 tons of food together so that we could start in the centre of Morecambe. Why did we do that? It's because we were seeing raw evidence on the streets, and we were seeing people queuing at the church for food, and they were actually taking it back to their parents. So we thought there is no better evidence than that, and that's why we started the food bank. We've sadly had to grow. We were in the church, and we then ended up taking over a third of the church, but we had to grow with the rise in demand. But if you fast forward those 7 years, we've had to move. We're not in an ideal situation. The room that you're in at the moment is where we meet and greet our guests. But actually all the food and everything, you're more than welcome to have a look round at any time when we finish, is all held hostage upstairs. And I say held hostage because we've got a lift. Now, we now distribute over 4 tons of food a month. That has to go up and down those stairs. We had a football team in over Christmas because the lift broke, so we had some help. But we still have those queues. But what is worrying, that in those queues are some of those young adults that were queuing 7 years ago that are now here with their own children. In January we go over 1,500 hours of volunteer time, and in value, monetary value at minimum wage, that's over £11,500 that would have been in the wages bill. And sometimes we give 70 parcels in a 2-hour session. So who are you listening to? You'll be listening to representatives from agencies. We've Helen here from CAB, Fire Brigade, our fantastic team with our Poverty Truth Commission. They've got some amazing stories to tell. And some of our volunteers are here to tell you their stories. But why are our volunteers? We feel that our guests are very vulnerable, and we want to make sure that we maintain their dignity and respect. We don't want to expose them to personal attacks that we have witnessed only this weekend on social media. Myself and other volunteers, we want to speak up and speak out to tell their story. Here with many others, we're going to be stepping up to the plate. Our volunteers don't give up their time lightly. It's not because they've nothing better to do. Volunteers come, and they continue to come, even though they are hearing the harrowing stories of the domino effects of the life shocks, low paid, unemployment and health that makes them less able to do many tasks. Volunteers don't do it to make themselves feel better, they do it to make a difference. Our donors, over 4 tons of food, it's not done out of sympathy, but it's now done out of empathy. And why is that? Because they just get it. Consequences and circumstances in which recipients find themselves. Volunteers and others in this room today are not going to be talking about the bad choices that people make, the criticism of cynics who say that those who require assistance make wrong ones. No one chooses where they're born, can't afford to move, the economic climate or health conditions. Nobody chooses to be made redundant or 0 hours contracts, which is common in coastal resorts. We're really fortunate here in Morecambe because we've got an amazing community. Look who's turned out today. Not just of donors, but of the council, who are active with the start of the Poverty Action Group. Our agencies and our schools are all really working hard together. The DWP are trialling a new local helpline, which they're hoping to roll out across the country, and that's being started here in Morecambe, so we're really pleased to be able to be part of that. But also we've got hope. We've got hope in the potential of the Eden project, which will bring benefits to the town and growth in employment. But as house properties should rise, our eyes are still wide open because there could be an increase in rent, and then the benefit cap could increase, which would then could effectively affect our tenants. I'd like to finish by saying thank you for coming. We hope you take all this back to Westminster about the experience and the struggles that everybody here goes through and they can't get through today. And we're hoping that the work you'll be doing will help them get through their work tomorrow.